fudge. Looks like my mic's been off this whole dang time. Ha. I've just been sitting here chatting to myself then. Ah well, such is life. Oh no, I've been sitting here yammering this whole time. I've been talking about how your favorite restaurant has French fries now. And they're actually really, really good. I've been talking about probably the most famous Pokemon video game player getting sexually assaulted. Oh no. Well, we're gonna get one of these days, I'm not gonna. Are you kidding me? Good job, Asada. Let's knock out the other one. Wait, did it do splash damage? I got splash damage. All right. I don't know what retaliate is. Yeah, no, I don't need that one. Okay. Well, it looks like Alpha Lopunny is back in Legend Z to A again. So everyone can get their Big Mama Bunny. I've still got a pile of memes about that somewhere. Dang it. Ah, crap, okay. Yeah, no, like I was saying before, there are 8, as far as I know, 8 of these Stuffles out here, as far as I know. The lady told me there's 8. So I'm looking for the 7th and 8th ones, and then I don't know if I get some kind of reward or what. No, there's a lady at the very beginning of the route that's like, oh no, all my Stuffles ran away, help me. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Alright, if anyone is, okay, there's number 7. If anyone is still waiting to redeem their Miraidon or Koraidon, if you're on the stream right now, then here's your reminder, because they are all, those codes are expiring like first thing in the morning. You've got, I don't know, 6 hours. And you're gonna have a, dang it, this guy's gonna have a Growl if I know it. Alright, so I was talking about how much I love Skarmory. Skarmory used to be one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. One of the big strategies when I got into Pokemon competitively was Skarmbliss. You would use a Skarmory that was really bulky in terms of physical defenses, and Blissey that was, you know, practically unkillable with special defense HP. And you just rotate between those to soak up all of your opponent's damage. So you can, you know, maybe throw out a Toxic and some Spikes or something, and just let them pound against your walls all day. It could be even worse if you gave Blissey, like, double team or minimize to make it harder to hit. Who's learning Dizzy Punch? $7,000. You know what? Actually, Coffee, I think you're good. Poro Latte is leveling up so much higher than you should be. Alright. Ooh, I snuck up on the cop. Miraidon for Colorado and Miraidon for Morado. I gotta say, so the codes work for either game, but which Pokemon you get depends on which game you're using it in. So if you use the code in Pokemon Scarlet, you get a Miraidon because it's the one that you don't normally get in Scarlet. If you go to Violet, you get a Koraidon, and they're the shiny ones. It's the first time you've been able to get the shiny Pokemon. The problem was, I've got both games, and I managed to get 2 copies of the code, which is great. But when I booted up Violet today, I realized that I basically had a totally fresh... oh, he's gonna knock himself out. I basically had a totally fresh save, and so I had to play for about 35 or 40 minutes to get to the point where I could redeem the code. So I got started a little bit late on this today for that reason. Alright. I'm gonna run all the way back to the beginning, get to the lady with all of her Stuffles, and see what I get out of all that. Muscle Band, alright. And 15 grand, alright. And let's heal our Pokemon real fast. They're doing okay, but you know what? I think that there's a Team Skull front up here, like stealing it. Yep, stealing the bus stop sign. And I don't know if there's going to be a stream next week, Tuesday, because I'm going to be flying off to another island that day. And I'm going to be flying off to another island that day, and I don't know what time I'm going to get back. Yes, it's just a Just a small work trip. In and out in one day. I'm gonna fly out in the morning. No, it's not a new job. Although I might be getting a new office. So right now, me and myself and one other guy, we have the same job. We should have the same pay, but he's probably gotten paid bumps because of seniority, because he's been there for 12 years. But he's pretty well entrenched in the office that's there because he's been pretty much the only guy there for 12 years. So there isn't much room for me to move into the office. So I'm, basically sitting out in the classroom working from there, which is fine. I like where I'm at. But I guess he's being asked to apply for a new job in the same location that pays more. No. If you don't get the knockout right now, Asada, you're going to be in deep doo-doo. But yeah, if he takes the other job, he's going to be a pay boost and not much of a difference in terms of work. He says he'll have a slightly smaller office, but it's going to be in a different location, which means that this office will suddenly be online. Ooh, and down. Now, to be honest, he wasn't exactly alone. There have been 2 or 3 other guys that have rotated in positions similar to mine in that time. But the guy that was there when he got there retired, and they had a couple of tutors and a couple of people that were paid for with different grants and stuff instead of being paid directly by the state like we are. I think there was one guy that died. These guys going back to the mansion. I forget, is the mansion on this island? I think the mansion might be on this island, and I think that it might also be... I think it might also be in the same location as that terrible giant purple castle. Yeah, there's... This is actually a thing. There's a big purple castle, European medieval style castle down on the very southern point of the island. I've seen it once or twice. I've heard stories about it. People say, yeah, it's a purple castle. People say that it's that some eccentric guy built it and opened it up for people anyone to live in, and so now it's completely full of otherwise homeless guys and druggies and stuff, and at some point someone came in and painted the whole thing purple inside and out. Mount Lanakila. It looks like cranes on the top there. Okay. so I've only been recording about half an hour now. That's fine. Rotolotto time. What is that? Experience one? Oh, that's the money one. Okay. I wasn't trying to get your Rotolotto. I was just trying to wake your butt up. Oh my gosh, she saw me looking through her legs. You know what? I actually know a Jessica. Oh my gosh, I actually know a Jessica that works up at the observatory up on Mauna Kea. Alright, let's blast him. Chow! At some point I need to do a video of, like, all of the Z moves. In order to do it as a recording, as a recording like this, I think I would need to hack in a couple of items. Oh, wait a second. Speaking of, not speaking of hacking, but speaking of items, boost physical moves, Hondu. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh my gosh. Pollet and Hondu Berry I need to grow a bunch more of. Alright, not what I meant to do, but hi Pikachu, how you doing? I was actually trying to get out to Poképelago. Because I've now finally got a way in Poképelago to grow berries. One of the things that frustrates me the most in the newer Pokemon games is that they've moved away from growing berries. So it's like, it's nice that you don't have to, in theory, it's nice that you don't have to worry about, you know, planting and harvesting berries and making the right mulch for them and all kinds of stuff like that. But at the same time, like, it's totally up to chance what berries you're going to end up with. So if you need greppa berries, like greppa berries and tomato berries and a few others, there's 6 of them that you actually use to train Pokemon with. And you want to always make sure that you have a lot of them, because you use them to actually train down some of your Pokemon stats. And by training their stats down, you can increase other stats. not what I meant to do, but okay. So, for example, this the Pikachu that I've got, right? It leans towards physical attack. So, in order to get the most out of it, if I'm fighting those Ellie gems and stuff, they're probably worth special attack points. So, if I want to get the best results for my Pikachu, I need to give it the berries that reduce its special attack, so that it can have room to grow more physical attack and grow more speed. Not very effective, yep. Oh my gosh, self-destruct. Let me guess, you hung on because you love me? Good job, Asada. You know what you need. You know what I need. Yeah, I seem to recall that that guy is one of the hardest Pokemon to shiny hunt because it has a tendency to self-destruct, which, you know, you can't catch it. And also, you can't actually tell if it's shiny until you either catch it or get it to break its shell. So, like, you need to break the shell to see if it's shiny underneath the shell, but it'll usually explode first. Of course, when it comes in, it should still do the shiny sparkle, but if you know, it's a blink and miss it type of thing. Best move you could have done, man. Good job. Hey Rotom, I love you, man, but I really don't want advice when I'm trying to look at the map. Alright, I want to know how much further I have to go. Simeon! Which is a fighting type, which means I'm in danger! Got one more Pokemon after that, Simeon too. You know, one of the a lot of Pokemon episodes, like early in the anime, were banned because they were made for a Japanese audience. They weren't made for an American audience, which meant that they it's a big old breakneck blitz. So they weren't made for an American audience, which means that they didn't have American, like, cultural norms in mind. And so you have things like some of the scenes of James cross-dressing cut down. The episode with the Safari Zone warden brandishing his gun at everyone got completely removed. Never broadcast in the US. The Porygon episode. Porygon wasn't at fault. That was Pikachu's fault. But still, they did a really good job of cleaning those up after those first, like, 2 series, the first couple of seasons. There were still a couple that, you know, disappeared or weren't broadcast in other countries. Some of them had changes, like the ones with Jinx that looked like she was in blackface got changed. But, and there was one, gosh, I think there were 2 that got banned just because of bad timing. Like, one of them was, it featured an earthquake, but it was supposed to air like the day after a huge earthquake in Japan, so they ended up canceling it. One that had something crashing into a building, and that was supposed to air in the United States right after 9/11/2021. So they're like, yeah, no, let's not do that one either. But of the newer stuff, aside from those outliers, ooh, that's a Beldum. Okay, I don't need a pseudo-legendary on my team. I do not need it. Want it, don't need it. I just have to remember that Beldum is actually terrible until it evolves. But one of the few episodes that ended up getting banned anyways was the Passimian episode, because it had Ash dress up as a Passimian in order to, you know, get to know him a little bit better. The problem was, because Passimian has, you know, a black face, it was another one where they're like, oh, hey, that's a racist stereotype in the United States. So I actually need to figure out where that episode is, so I can look it up. Because I just realized it's probably not going to show up in, oh, come on back. It's probably not going to show up on Hulu or whatever where I've been watching the episodes. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Beldum. You're gonna knock yourself out here. Like, I'm trying to give you a home, and you're just like, no, I'd rather die. Ooh, let's see, Rock Tomb is 60.95. You know, I don't think that you're fast enough to make them flinch, and I don't like that reduced accuracy. Oh, that's how I get the golfer. You know, there's a Pokemon conspiracy that says that, and that's what a meteor looks like without its shell on. There's a Pokemon conspiracy that basically says that Guzma, the leader of... Oh no. It does roll out. The leader of Team Skull became a bad guy on account of he's not very good at golf. And like the main reasoning for that is because you can go to Guzma's house. It's on the first island. We passed it. I think I may have stolen a sticker from his bedroom. But one of the items that you find in there, there's a set of golf clubs, like a golf bag, and all of the golf clubs are like really beat up, like in bad shape. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's, trying to say that he's an abused kid or something. His dad whacked him with golf clubs or something, because corporal punishment is actually really common in Hawaii. It's a whole thing. But the other evidence, people point out that there's one character that you can run into in the League Challenge, like at the very end of the game, who is a golfer who apparently has some kind of history with Guzma. And the speculation is that she and Guzma were rivals, both as Pokemon trainers and as golfers. And she ended up beating him in both, being a much better golfer and succeeding in the island trial where he failed. But that mostly, I think, is linked to their age and the fact that she's like... their apparent age and the fact that he would have been in that position if he had succeeded his trial. Alright, we may have actually beaten every trainer on this route. Yeah, I usually can't be bothered, dude. I do, but like, I'm trying to look at the map and you keep on yakking. Show me the map. I was just chatting with a couple people today about the Rotom decks and the Rotom phones and which one's better. Personally, I like the Rotom phones. I think it shows the evolution of technology within the games matching the technology outside of the games. Because by the time this one came out, by the time Ultra Sun came out, the iPhone had already been out for like 8 years or something. So, smartphones were pretty much part of the zeitgeist already. Alright, this guy. Alright, let's see how strong this guy is. So a lot of these routes have an ace trainer or a veteran at the end who will only challenge you or who will give you something special if you beat every other trainer on the route. And I haven't really bothered trying to track all of them down. Because sometimes it's set up like a Metroidvania where you'd actually have to come back to the route after getting another item. Like, come back after you got Lapras for Surf, or come back after you got Tauros to break through the rocks or something. This is, a really short route and not a lot of places to hide those guys. Golfer would have been the hard one to find, but I found him. Absol. I'm gonna keep coffee up here because Absol is another dark type. It's also weak to fighting. If I land this jump kick, it's gonna be... Oh, it's one shot. Good job. Good job, Coffee. Excellent work. Good crit. points, huh? 90, 100. Yeah, we're replacing Pound. We are 100% replacing Pound here. The waves of emotion swell. I'm so frustrated with losing, I want to scream. TM95. Okay. Wow, I've got a whole bus service. All to myself. Ah, I knew there was a sticker up here somewhere. I just have to squeeze in. Alright. So that is not the trial leader. That's not the captain. Is there a little hole here? Is there, like, something I'm supposed to find in there? Alright, let's save and see about going on to the trial. I want to check one more thing first, too. Which is, what is Poplio holding? The Waterium Z. I thought that I'd given him the special Primarina one. But I guess not. Guess I don't have it yet. Yeah, it's a whole, like, open secret that Kukui's the Masked Royal. I don't think he ever actually acknowledges it in the games. But in the anime, at least, we do see him, like, changing. I guess there's possible deniability for some of these characters that insist that, you know, I'm definitely not the Masked Royal. I'm definitely not the Professor. Charjabug's just a battery. Can I just save? Alright, Rotom, let's save. I know what you are. Yeah, you know, I went to GameStop recently to pick up the copy of Legends Z to A. And my local GameStop, I guess they don't have enough shelf space because they have a big, several big boxes, cardboard boxes of random plushes near the door, which I thought were like, you know, on clearance or something. We gotta get rid of these ones. No, it just turns out they don't have shelf space, so they throw the extras in there. But they've got these sleeping Pokemon. I've got a sleeping Totodile, keeping my bed warm. But in there, the first time I saw a sleeping Jolteon. I'd never seen a sleeping Jolteon before. And like I'd seen the starters. I'd seen, you know, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. I'd seen Pikachu, and like Jigglypuff. Yeah, Jigglypuff and Teddy Ursa, and Totodile. And that was about it, maybe one or two extras. But this one had a Jolteon. And so I dug a little bit. In fact, I sent a picture with the gummy goo or whatever from the amazing Technicolor Circus. And that was the only evolution they had. But I walked over to Target and they had Flareon, you know, sleeping Flareon. And I noticed that both places had several of each of those, and nobody had a sleeping Vaporeon. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It was probably sold out immediately. Yeah, the amazing Technicolor Circus. That's the one. Okay, I've got some stickers now. Oh, that's definitely the trial captain door. There's Sophocles' room. You can tell he's a scientist because he's sleeping in here. Yeah, is it? Oh wow, there's a mute button on my microphone. I had no idea. More power. I wonder when that turned off. Okay, so that's gonna rotate that, and then 2 buttons here should get us there. You know, if I was smart, I'd take these chances to rearrange my Pokemon. Way more power. And totem? Not a totem. Alright, Coffee, same routine. See if we can knock this guy out before he can do any damage. Good. Okay. Good. I like free experience. That's basically what those two were. Was free experience. All right. My trial will continue to continue. Okay, so let's get you over there. And so this is going to be going into So the legitimate question is, what Pokemon is going to have the best chance of surviving for a few turns here? I think I actually want to start with Primarina. She's gonna get, or he's gonna get knocked out almost immediately, but lowering the speed, I think, is going to be really important. And again, Pikachu does nothing in this battle. Oh no, okay. I see what's happening here. This is stupid. They need to go diagonal. I need to connect the circuits. I need to make a Z for a Z move. But wait a second, these are in series now, not in parallel. Oh, I'm gonna blow up your invention, man. I better win that trial. Good job, Togedemaru. Big Togedemaru. My electricity. Don't you ever talk to my Sun again. Oh, I didn't see what stat went up. I actually kind of want to have the ally Pokemon out already, so that I can get them both with this. Doofer? Can I survive this one and slow you both? Good. Alright, I like it. Critical hit on Skarmy, good. Speed fall on both of them. Stealth Rock is a dick move. Can I get a second speed down? Second speed down. Oh no! Okay, Tailwind is 1 speed up or 2? I'm actually not sure. So they may now be at full speed again, or they may be 1 below. Let's try for a Inferno Overdrive knockout. Should still be super effective against Togedemaru. Oh no! Really? Did I just waste my Z move? I may have just wasted my Z move. Or Z moves do some damage through Protect? I don't know, I think I screwed up here. Torment means I can't use the same attack again. But it's not the same attack, is it? Ah. Okay, we got the totem down. We did a little extra damage to Skarmory. Asada, you my boy. You are so my boy. Oh my gosh, hang in there. Yeah, you are gonna get the win out of this. Can't use the same move twice. Okay, so make me a liar. We're gonna use Pikachu after all. Dodge it, Pikachu! Tailwind petered out, so his speed went back down. So let's get a Spark in there. We should be good to go. Okay, that was actually, honestly, I think the easiest totem so far. Decaf to 35, good job. Tailwind. Okay, you know what? Just because, what is Tailwind? Root, straight wind. We're actually going to give up on agility just because Tailwind can apply to the entire team. So Decaf can use Tailwind, switch out, and give someone else the speed boost. Almost loses. I had one Pokemon get knocked out, 1 out of 6. And that was the one that I knew was going to be weak going in, that I explicitly put out in order to give them slow effects. Alright. My first of 2 main attackers didn't even go down. He just wasn't able to use his fire move a second time. Those 2 were both Steel-type Pokemon, which means that Coffee, the Lopunny, with Jump Kick, could have taken them both on, too. This would have been right up there with a Nuzlocke. I could have Nuzlocked that one. Okay, I probably wouldn't have put Primarina out front if that happened, but you know, at some point when this game came out, they actually made those. He doesn't want to do the little dance. Okay, I've practiced that one. That is a hard move to do, okay? Nepotism. Oh, don't force me back to... Yeah. Back here again. Okay. I don't want to, though. Oh, he must be a fan. Why does Rotom keep calling me Big Boy? Like, I think Rotom is genderless. Does Rotom have a crush on me? Because honestly, that's kind of cute. And Rotom can possess just about any electronic device. So that could get kind of wild. There's an episode of Gravity Falls about that, isn't there? Where Seuss ends up getting a no one realized that Seuss was Hispanic. Like, that was something that nobody caught until really late in the show. But yeah, at one point when he was not confident about dating, and he ended up with a dating sim in order to practice dating. So but the dating sim ended up falling in love with him, and it kept on possessing other electronics and stuff. Which ended up, in a weird way, also... let's see, I don't want to go to this island. Which ended up, in a weird way, predicting Five Nights at Freddy's. Big Wave Beach? No. Hey, Beach. I am flying back here real fast. Because I want to talk to the Professor Oak that's over on this beach. Alright, I got a totem gumshoes. So I'm sure that I caught these Pokemon in Ultra Sun, or in Ultra Sun the first time I played on the 3DS. I wonder where they went. I wonder if they're in my box. Hey, I got the Marowak. A Marowak. I'm gonna have to look up the timeline on that, because I think they might have been kind of close. Marowak goes into the box. You know, last time you just said that you told me you were going to give me these Pokemon. So I thought maybe if I talked to you, you'd tell me what you were going to give me next. But no! Alright, so we're... Yeah, let's fly back to Mainline City. And from there... we're gonna call it a night. Alright, we got all of the Pokemon happy and healthy. Yes, indeed. Alright. So that's all I wanted to do on here today, and it is also time for me to get some sleep. I got an early day tomorrow. So thank you once again for joining me for Pokemon Ultra Sun. I don't know what I'm doing this Saturday. Maybe this Saturday, instead of the scheduled Pokemon stream, the parody stream, maybe I'll just do the daytime one in this and finally evolve Latte. Anyways, this video will be up on YouTube tomorrow at noon, Hawaiian time. So I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful weekend, and Alola.